All right, what is going on, guys? Got a breakdown for UFC Vegas 44. Absolute banger here. This one's going to be in 2 weeks because we got the holiday weekend coming up this week. But yeah, one I've been looking so forward to since it was announced, it was announced a little bit ago. I want to say like 3 months ago. So this one's been on the cards for a while. But yeah, this is about as good as it gets outside of the top 10 for a matchup. Both of these guys are killers in one of the best divisions in the UFC, and it's just been nothing but up. And now it's just we get to see who's gonna move forward. Doesn't get better than this, but yeah, both guys 10-1, about even on reach. Fiziev's gonna have a 1 inch height advantage, so I will start with Fiziev. So coming off a solid win against Bobby Green, where it was a little scary if you bet Fiziev in that one, but yeah, before that knocks out Renato Moicano, and the fight where he really burst onto the scene was against Mark Jacasey. He did pick up that win against Alex White, did some things well. It was just a solid decision win. But then against Jacasey, really works in those power kicks and really starts to get a reputation for how heavy his body kicks are and how heavy his leg kicks are. And he cruises in the first 2 rounds and then Jacasey starts to counter well. I would say Jacasey probably won the third round, but didn't matter. Fiziev clearly banked the first two and got a lot of people talking about his power. And then against Renato Moicano, just knocks him out. Moicano has a reputation for having a not the best chin, which is fair, but he has been knocked out by pretty much all killers, and I would put Fiziev in that category. He's got very heavy hands. Moicano was having some success on the feet though. Like Fiziev is a little bit hittable, but yeah, it didn't matter. Moicano couldn't eat that power combination. Then against Bobby Green, Fiziev wins the first 2 rounds, I would say. They were close. Bobby Green has probably some of the best movement in the UFC. He His defense all around is just probably the best part of his game, and it's why he's one of my favorite fighters. But yeah, striking wise, Bobby Green will kind of pick his shots. He's not really a guy that sits in the pocket. And don't get me wrong, he's a good offensive fighter, but Fiziev was able to just land more volume. He was able to come forward and win the first 2 rounds. But then he gets really tired in the third, and Bobby definitely wins that round. And there was talk of Green winning that fight. There are people that thought Green won that fight. I think the best decision was made because I think you just got to look at the way fights are supposed to be scored. Fiziev won the first 2 rounds, and then Green, I believe, pulled ahead on the striking numbers in the third. But the right decision was made. It was a banger of a fight. But yeah, the gas tank is a little bit of a concern for Fiziev. I think he uses a lot of empty movement, but I mean, on the plus side though, his kicks, he doesn't exert himself on those. He's got some of the better kicking technique in the whole UFC, and yeah, he doesn't telegraph them. They're not overexerted. They're just nice and clean, nice and smooth. So yeah, there is that whole thing, but yeah, it's kind of becoming a theme with him where he looks tired in the third round, but he has been banking the first two at the same time. So I imagine it'll be something like that. But yeah, a lot of power with Viziev and just only trending up. And then so for Brad Riddell, same deal. City kickboxing, but I believe these guys used to train together at Tiger Muay Thai, and they both have good kickboxing acumen. Brad Riddell has a good kickboxing record, but it's just been nothing but up in the UFC for Brad Riddell. Comes in, has a war with Jamie Malarkey, um, just absolutely kicks the shit out of him, but doesn't get the finish. But yeah, just kind of burst onto the scene in a big way. Then against Magomed Mustafayev, he was a slight underdog in that one. Ends up dropping him. That was in Auckland, New Zealand, so the crowd was 100% behind Brad Riddell. Ends up dropping him in the first. First round ends up kind of getting tied up, but you got to end up giving it to Riddell because he tied up in the clinch, I mean. But yeah, Riddell dropped him, and he banks that round. And then Mustafayev tries working in the wrestling. It ends up being a split decision, but I think Brad Riddell won that fight. I think the best decision was made. I think against Alex De Silva, that was a little bit of a concerning fight for me because I was all in on Brad Riddell to get the knockout in that one. Thought it was going to be a big progression fight for him, and he took a little bit to get going. I think he dropped the first round, and he did get wobbled a couple times, but was able to battle back. And then I think he was about to get him out of there in the third because the ref called an eye poke on a knuckle into the eye, and he ends up getting like a minute to rest just for like no reason, as opposed to just being hurt badly like that, having to shell up. And I mean, it sucks for De Silva, it's just the knuckle goes into your eye, but it's not an eye poke. There's nothing illegal about it. there shouldn't have been a stoppage, and I think the ref kind of saved De Silva in that one. And then against Drew Dober, probably the best win of Brad Riddell's career, the best he's looked all the way through, I would say. But the theme with Brad Riddell is he fights his best round in the third, and he punctuates his combinations very well. He's got good boxing, heavy hands. He's got good defensive movement, good head movement, and he doesn't really exert a lot of energy to do it. He just kind of slides out of the way of shots very well. It's kind of a low key part of his game that you don't often see, but he has been rocked a couple times. He's gotten wobbled, but he's shown that he definitely has a chin. Like, he doesn't get dropped. He hasn't been finished. He knows how to battle back, and he doesn't overexert himself. I think he's got the cleaner counters for this fight, though. Both guys have good counters, but I think Riddell has very good counters. He's good at making reads on his opponents. And yeah, just such a great fight, man. Can't be stated enough. I initially thought this was on UFC 259, but I was mistaken. So I've been working on the font Aldo fight night breakdowns for this week. But yeah, this one is one that I've gone back and forth on. I've done a lot of research. It's a pick'em minus 108. And I'm definitely gonna side with Brad Riddell, but I will say that I think the will the fight go the distance prop might be worthwhile in this one. Um, I don't know those. I just don't necessarily like distance props. They never seem to be nice enough for me. Like if it's like over 2.5, or if it's like minus 200 for fight goes the distance, which I wouldn't be surprised at, then I'm probably just gonna pass. I just don't like those. But if it's at like minus 150 or something, or minus 160, which I think is fair because Fiziev has finishing power, but like if it's around there, I'm probably gonna try to make it better than that. But Brad Riddell, probably by decision, I think is a good play because one, Fiziev has been banking these first two rounds, but I think that Riddell is gonna, like I was saying, he makes really good reads on his opponents. He's got good counters. I think that that is gonna make those two rounds very close. And I think that Riddell will probably be able to snag one of them just by landing the heavier shots. And then it's just going to come down to that third round. You know, if you're going to pick Riddell, you're probably going to be banking on Riddell to have a great third and either get the finish or just put a stamp on it. And so it might present a live betting opportunity if you want to go that route. But I think when the line is like this, when it's got good value either way, if you want to pick a side in this one, which again, volatile fight, no sure thing on the betting side in this one. I bet Topology votes are like split 50-50. I would probably say 60-40 Riddell just because of the reasons that I was saying with the slowing down of Fiziev in the third round while Riddell picks it up in the third round. And I also just think the counters are a little bit better. So I think Riddell is going to edge this one out predictions wise, but very close fight. If you want to pick Fiziev, I couldn't complain about that at all, man. I thought about picking Fiziev too. It's like, you know, a lot of deliberation on this one. But at the end of the day, I just think Brad Riddell, the combination of the chin, counters, and just being able to fight for 15 minutes a little better than Fiziev is going to get this one done probably by decision. But we got plenty of time to wait on this one, see what we're going to do for betting. But yeah, I like Brad Riddell. So thanks for watching, guys. Sure, subscribe and take it easy.